Greetings, my fellows, and greetings to you all. Welcome to the first post-ModCon dev diary, which, oh my god, let me pause the video before the video begins. Thank you all so much. I was there, I saw all of you. To the one fellow that said in chat, Victoria frees Equestria at war, and the other guys that said that my trailer was second only to Kiko's Cheems Bonk. I love you all. I would frame that shit on my wall if I could. The hype was so thick my blood felt like maple syrup. Cheers to y'all, cheers to our condomini, and now onto the video. 12 nations, 4.5 new goods, 1 popular YouTuber and media personality who's wasted an entire day trying to come up with just the opening for this video. God damn it. Greetings everybody, and welcome to another dev diary for the up and coming Anchovy Dominoes, covering all the major general economic changes coming in 0.7. Let us begin with the one that probably has the most CPUs quaking in their sockets. The 4 new goods are mechs, potions, hockums, and crystal marrow, while the 0.5 is a rework for electricity into energy. Gone are the days of electricity being a complete non-factor for 90% of the game. Now with the innovation nerf, more like 99% of the game for most nations. Not only do you start with it unlocked, you can mine it, trade it, and with enough tech, turn it into every fucking resource in the game. This is one of the most intriguing additions to the mod that maybe should have received more than half a second in the trailer. In general, I try to orient all economic changes towards pulling the late game experience, what I consider to be V3 at its finest, earlier in the timeline. Bigger number going being a key element of that. I also hope that with energy and frankly all the new goods being so versatile, that trade catches on more. Even in this beloved 1.9, while cool, it still feels like it never quite reaches the height you're hoping for. Mostly because the AI still only really built for itself, and the profit margins, aside from like a couple goods, are really just too damn weak. That's not necessarily a bad thing, game design wise, and it does kinda match our history, but it does leave a different kind of experience unexplored, which is where I come in. Crystal Marrow is perhaps the best example of that, as with 83.3333333333333 of all nations, you will need to trade for it. Crystal Marrow can only be found on Yashiori Island, and can be used in iron mines to either make them produce more iron or straight steel. I was actually debating whether to include this one for a while, because it adds a whole new dimension to the Yashiori-Inazuma conflict. I mean, this shit's gonna hit the world economy harder than the souls of the innocent in the White House, but I think it'll be a decent way for these two to catch up to the rest of the continent, and also give Watatsumi fucking something to do the entire game, I don't know. Mechs and potions are two sides of the same coin, increasing output on almost all buildings, but servicing different scenarios. Mechs are far more expensive to produce and take away jobs from your people, but offer a way better multiplier, while potions only require fruits and don't affect employment. The meta might seem obvious, but I actually hope that with the Mortal Immunity institution, the new production methods, and mechs, we might actually be able to create a post-scarcity society in Victoria Free. I'm not quite sure how well the game might handle that, but it's worth pushing it to the testing phase. The last good on our list is hockums, which can be best described as services plus. They can meet most service demand, be traded, and can satisfy in small amounts the demand for other goods like clothes or furniture. Both mechs and hockums consumption is kind of weird to represent. In real life, you buy tech once and then pay for the electricity to run it. But Victoria doesn't really have a way to represent that kind of consumption-dependent consumption. So the same way that producing automobiles takes oil, the bots will take energy and we'll just play along with it. Now, to get back to that point about CPUs earlier, the two main factors when it comes to this cornball of a game's performance are, as far as I'm aware, the global population number and the number of goods being processed. Hello, yes, post-scriptum YouTuber and media personality just 703 here. Yeah, I was about to go off on a whole side tangent like, oh no, 4 new goods might cause problems. But rest assured, the population is small enough to make up for it. Ooh, yeah, just played Realms of Xavier. That mod adds like 5 kajillion new goods, and it did not affect my performance at all. And I played this game like 10 FPS max, so like this will not matter in the slightest. And someone, don't remember who, but fucking someone on the Victoria Free Modding Co-op Discord server fucking lied to me, so fuck you. And also fuck the Realms of Xavier team for using AI art. Anyways, yeah. Onwards to new production methods. Once you unlock transmaterial, why the fuck did I have a random aneurysm there? You can build a new alchemical factory, allowing you to produce 1/3 of all goods in the game. You don't have to do one step individually per building. You can pick from anywhere to anywhere. However, depending on how many steps you go through, it will cost you less energy and more for, I'm thinking, slightly less output. Not too much of a loss, but important enough to merit specialization. The main limiting factor in this stage is money. But once you unlock Mortal Mora production, the main limit becomes energy. But at that point, limit isn't really the right word to use. I'm kind of annoyed I didn't find a way to squeeze lead into this whole alchemical debacle somewhere. You know, like the base material of alchemy and all of that. If you're deeper in the alchemy fandom, first, and second, comment down below with what we could do with it. Now, the general economic environment. Let's lightning round this shit. Category 1. Shit that just kinda makes sense and should probably already be in the game. Every kind of farm now has a new high variety harvest production method, allowing them to produce only fruits. Any kind of farm can now be built in almost any state. It's just that some get more throughput than others. And number 5. Roads! How the fuck are you still not in the game? Basically, they're railroads. Minus expensive in cold hard Mora, but taking no resources. You can also set them to produce less infrastructure but increasing the SOL of the pop in the state. A straight money to SOL line might cause some problems, but I think we can balance it to a reasonable degree. I do often find myself with more money than I can work with in the mid game, and with how capricious the standard of living can be occasionally, some consistency is more than welcome. Resource distribution. Pretty much all nations have some amount of iron, though a couple stand out big time. Wood is in a similar boat, only in reverse, with some countries liking it pretty hard. As for coal, oil, sulfur and lead, fuck me man, I don't know. Unfortunately, geographical surveys are not a feature of Genshin yet. With creative mode, a kinda roguelike, and gay Victorian Yu-Gi-Oh! You'd think they'd have added that too at some point, but apparently not. Outside of this son of a bitch, none of these resources are really obvious to figure out, so I'll just have to get creative. The extremely oversimplified version that I've managed to pick up in my 3 AM wiki binging is coal and oil, where plants used to be, sulfur on fault lines, volcanoes and shit, and lead. Fucking everywhere, I guess? Who the hell even gives a shit about lead? Me, that's fucking who. So every really fucking big mountain is gonna get some, in case I feel like doing something with it. The game itself barely cares about lead, why should I? And that's the economic environment of Teyvat. built to be just as weird as the fuckfest of a game it's based on. Thank you all for watching, like, share, subscribe, and kiss me on the lips, and I'll be off to write more fanfiction.